The Fake Baseball Podcast is brought to you by SalaryCapSports.com. Enjoy fantasy baseball and want to give a new format a try? SalaryCapSports.com has got you covered. It's free and you can win cash prizes. You start with $50 million and you build the best team you can before opening day. After you've built your squad, you get 4 trades a week to buy and sell players, adjust your lineup, and maximize the value. Player prices are changing every day based upon how often those players are bought and sold. Collect players, compete against others, score points, win cash prizes. Check it out now at SalaryCapSports.com. What is up, everybody? I know there's been a slight delay in our recordings, but it's okay. Life happens. Your boy was in New York last weekend, so it kind of put a delay on the rest of my week, put me a little behind, but it was so well worth it. As always, it is Blake Meyer here with my man Dylan Lydell. How you doing today, Dylan?
Yes, I'm good, man. I feel like a lot's gone down this week. Just a lot's happening. The Cougs play tonight too, but I didn't know you want to get into it just a little bit, If you catch my drift.
Cougs?
No, not the Cougs. I'm sorry. The big news from last night.
Ohtani. Oh boy.
Ohtani. What's your take
I will
on
go
that?
on record saying I am actually worried we might be done seeing Ohtani. I have a legitimate worry that it's more than just what they're saying it is.
Well, and it's only the beginning. They only seem to get worse over time when it starts to unpack itself little by little. But just now, I'm dead. I'm cutting out. There we go.
There you are.
Yes. God dang it. My bad. We're back.
And we're back, baby.
Struggling out the gate. Good start. But yeah, $4.5 million on an interpreter's budget doesn't add up. And he's already been on the wired transactions with Shohei's name on it. It's ugly. Like it really does feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like best case scenario, the interpreter really did steal the money and Ohtani wired the money to get him out of the debt. Worst case scenario, Shohei Ohtani was betting millions of dollars and his interpreter was his fall guy. Either way, Ohtani is in huge trouble. The fact that he sent that money,
and you said
to
best
the
case
bookie,
scenario too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's best case scenario. My voice cracked. Oh my God, I'm 35. I'm too old to have my voice crack. He sent that money to the bookie. So best case scenario, he still sent that money to a bookie, which you cannot do when you play professional sports. So he's screwed. So how screwed he is, we're going to have to find out when more facts come out. But it feels like every time more details come out, it's just a little worse than it was before. So this is bad, especially with how steadfast they are on Pete Rose.
Right. Well, that's the thing.
Lifetime ban never changing.
Yeah, and
who fucking knows, man? I'm not happy about it.
I mean, you just hope baseball does the right thing, though. I'm just worried that they might find a way to just sweep it all under the rug just because it's Ohtani. And you're not going to let that slide for the league's all-time hit leader. I don't get it. You know, time will tell with everything. It's going to be fascinating to watch, though.
It is. I wonder how long we have until they have to, the Dodgers have to pull him away from baseball activities. Maybe not necessarily suspend him, but just say he's on a personal leave. One of those moves. I wonder how long until we reach that point. And if you want to spin it to the fantasy baseball side, because we're a fantasy baseball podcast, Ohtani's a first round pick. Like, now what do you do in drafts? I'll ask you, Dylan, what do you do? Me and you have a home league draft happening next Tuesday. We finally filled that goddamn league. In that draft, Ohtani's a first round pick with based on ADP. Are you hesitant now?
I'm not the one. I'm not the one taking them. That's not going to be me.
like I'm tempted to, but I'm also nervous to. Like I don't know what to do because
First?
like he's still Otani. So if he plays, what do we do? Like
No, not
I don't.
first.
I'm
Not
not gonna lie.
first.
If we get to like third round and Otani's still there, I might do it. I might. I don't want to
It's
wait to
gonna be
third round. Pick
fascinating.
It's not going to play, but it's going to be crazy how all this plays out. But speaking of playing out, we've decided to play out on this podcast my article that just came out for Fantasy Pros today. What a transition! I just released an article for Fantasy Pros that took me way too goddamn long to write. I will not apologize for that, Custer, because I meant every syllable of it.
Beavers build them.
It was damn near 4,500 words by the time I submitted it to the editor. I put out my top fantasy baseball X factor for all 30 teams in baseball. And just a little icing on the cake, I included honorable mentions from every single team as well, just so you guys can kind of get a peek inside the mind that I deal with every day when it comes to baseball. But instead of covering the whole article, we wanted to just kind of break down some of our favorites from the article for this one. Especially, this is going to end up being a little shorter episode than normal. It's my son's birthday today. He's got soccer practice, so I got to try and squeeze
Happy
this
birthday,
in between
Cason
soccer.
Wayne.
Happy
young
birthday, Cason. He is downstairs watching somebody play Roblox on the TV at the moment, so he is living his absolute best life. He's probably eating a cupcake. But right out of the gate, I think the easiest one to get into, I don't want to call him the talk of baseball, but he's getting up there to be the talk of baseball. If it wasn't for Otani, he might be. Oneil Cruz hit another couple dingers. He's really now got 7 he has 7 home runs in 12 spring training games.
35
I've seen people taking him at this point as high as the second round. Dylan, how good do you think Oneil Cruz can be this year? And do you lean more towards this being just a little bit of a hot spring, or do you think, think Oneil Cruz is back?
So in 35 at bats and having 7 bombs, I don't think that's going to play carrying into the regular season in Pittsburgh. Still hitting 343 though. Like he's still spraying the ball too, just under 1400 OPS. He's gonna get his steals as excuse me there. Sorry about that. He's gonna get his steals. Only got 1 right now. He's fast. Like this dude can be a top 3 shortstop. I have more confidence in saying that than I do Ellie. Like I think Oneil Cruz is what people hope and pray Ellie actually is, or what they think he is rather. So I will go as far as to say I think Oneil can finish as a top 3 shortstop. He's got the tools. Just what he's putting on for spring right now. Already has 7 bombs. So that blew my mind seeing that, pulling it up. That's where I see him. But second round, like if you see the ceiling and you don't want to miss out on him, shoot your shot, kid. But you can maybe wait a little bit longer. But I think it could pay out to, be that kind of value though.
I agree. I think if you want to go strictly based off ADP, maybe second round's a little harsh or a little like over anxious, I guess is the better term. But if you really think about it, the production you're going to get from him is second round production. A lot of people point to like his strikeout rate that he had back in 2022, which is his first year up. He didn't really play in 2023. I think it was like 2 games or something like that before he had the horrible leg injury, which sucks. So this is really the first look we're getting of Oneil Cruz since 2022. Keep in mind, he cut his strikeout rate below 30% in that September, October back in 2022. I know that's kind of a lot to ask of somebody to cut it, like, or to be okay with the 30% strikeout rate, but he was like a 40% strikeout rate guy before that. And everybody's talking about all he does is hit the ball hard. He doesn't make great contact. He strikes out a lot, all that. But then in the final stretch of his first year in the league, he cuts that strikeout rate to below 30%, which in fantasy baseball,
that's huge.
You can live with a guy that has a strikeout rate below 30%. And now in spring, he has a strikeout rate of 20%. So
Huge,
if he can
huge
live,
difference.
we'll even say like 27% strikeout rate out of Oneil Cruz, and he can stay healthy. We'll put that caveat in there. We'll just pretend he's healthy for for the sake of fun. Honestly, he's always had 40 home run potential. I don't think he has 40 stolen base potential. He seems to be a little more reserved on the base pass, but he has maybe 25 stolen base potential. So he now becomes a 40 home run, 25 stolen base guy. Do you know who that is? Shohei Ohtani. That's a Shohei Ohtani season. And you're getting it out of somebody that, admittedly, I just did a ESPN draft, and their ADPs are all weird, and I got Oneil Cruz in like the 23rd round or something like that. So in certain leagues, you can find him late, but that's crazy value there out of Oneil Cruz. The upside's insane. And I think, honestly, he's probably my favorite X factor on this list just because he has the ability to be so good. But then next, moving on from Senior Cruz, we are going to shift over to Michael Garcia. I think we covered him a little bit previously.
A little bit.
He's somebody I've been on since my weekly waiver wire days of last year for Fantasy Pros. I could not get enough of Michael Garcia. Dylan, kind of the same question with Oneil Cruz. How big of an upside do you think Michael Garcia has this year, especially with how late he's being drafted?
Yeah. Well, not the same upside as Oneil Cruz, with all respect to Michael Garcia. But I think this is a guy that, you just grab late in drafts trying to fill out your bench or whatever, depending on how big it all is. Or like in the
Pause.
Pause. Or the big draft that we did. I know he went a little bit in the middle rounds, but this is a guy, he's going to get you the 20 stolen bases. He hits the ball really hard too, which I really like about him. Doesn't mean it's always going to go over the wall, but he's going to get line drives, get extra base hits. He's hitting 346 this spring. I like to see that. I think this is a great depth guy. Get you another corner guy, corner infielder, utility. If he's your starting third baseman, a little shaky, I would say, but definitely like your first base, third base slot, utility slot. That's a good get.
Yeah. Man, that's perfect. You said that. That's honestly where I've been sliding him in. Pause. In that corner infield spot is perfect. I don't want him as like my third baseman. I want him as like my corner infielder. That's a great spot to put him. He doesn't make like super hard contact in terms of barrels, but he had an average exit velocity of almost 92%, expected batting average of 274 last year, and a chase rate of just 20%, which was in the 89th percentile. I know in my article, I likened him to a 2022 Yandy Diaz with a little more speed. He's faster than Yandy, but he had very similar launch angle, average exit velocity, barrel rate. All of that was almost identical to Yandy Diaz in 2022. And then we all saw what Yandy did last year in 2023. He put a little more emphasis on putting the ball in the air, at least earlier on in the year. That kind of fizzled out after June. But Michael Garcia has that ability. He tears the cover off the ball. Great strikeout rate. I know this spring he's hitting 346 within, identical walk and strikeout rate of 18%, a couple dingers, a couple stolen bases. He does a little bit of everything, and it wouldn't surprise me if he bats towards the top of that Royals lineup. So I love Michael Garcia. He has a fairly high ceiling for somebody that is being drafted like in that 18, 19, 20, 21 round range. I don't know his ADP like immediately off the top of my head, but he's being drafted in that range. He's so good. He does hold sneaky value. He's not going to pop off the page when you look at the stats, which is going to get a lot of maybe the more casual fantasy baseball players to kind of overlook him while you're drafting. But yeah, Michael Garcia is so good. Dylan, do you think he could have I mean, I'm thinking this through right now, workshopping it in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he could have kind of that jump like Yandy had from 2022 to 2023? You think Mike Garcia could maybe do something like that, maybe in the 20 home run
How
range?
many?
Or is that a little ambitious?
Yeah, I don't know about 20. I was about to say, how many did Yandy finish with last year?
I think he
Yeah,
had
I
like
don't know.
20, 22.
Yeah, I think Garcia is a guy that kind of caps out at like 15. It's kind of my gut. 20, I think that's stretching it a little bit. I think 15 is kind of what he does, but who knows? He could also have a season like JP. Who would have thought he finished with what did JP have? 20?
I think
No,
he had
JP have
19 last year.
19. Yeah, I was about to say he
Yep.
just finished around that range too. So you never know. I never thought I would see JP sniffing 20 either.
Oh,
But I
me
think
neither.
15 is probably where I would say or comfortable putting him at.
I like that. That's probably more of a safe bet. A little ambitious with the Yandy thing, but I'm standing by it. I wrote it down and I published it, so I'm sticking by it. But yeah, it might be a little ambitious, but I'm still here
Right
for it.
there.
Ambitious is fun sometimes.
Yandy is also just built like a Greek sculpture or something. Like he's not the same build.
Adolis, man.
Just
Him and Adolis are
arms for
statues
days.
of men. This is a wild episode. Next on the list is somebody that I don't think gets talked about enough and had maybe one of the most underrated rookie seasons of all time. Anthony Volpe of your New York Yankees, not yours, Dylan, but you Yankees fan who's listening to this. Last year, Anthony Volpe, highly touted rookie, stole a ton of bases, showed some pop in the minors. He didn't really have a crazy hit tool. I mean, he hit 251 in 2022, 236 at AAA. But 2023, he started 159 games for the New York Yankees. Rookies don't do that. He ended the season with 21 dingers and 24 stolen bases. He only hit 209, but honestly, maybe the quietest 2020 season I've ever heard of.
No kidding.
Do you think he can build off of that this year, Dylan? And then, like, where do you think maybe the ceiling caps out for an Anthony Volpe in 2024?
And I think bringing in a guy like Juan Soto helps guys like Volpe more than most. Because Volpe's probably projected to start near the bottom of the lineup come opening day, but he's hit 313 this spring. He's got a bomb, but like you said, like 21 bombs, 24 stolen bases. Like we weren't talking about Volpe having a 2020 season like that. He also won a Gold Glove out there too. Like he's a good player. He's a really complete player. I think there's and this is like we weren't talking about him either. That's the crazy thing. I just can't get that out of my head because I didn't realize it either that he had a 2020 season. So just I don't know if this is like the floor for Volpe. What is the ceiling? I actually don't know. Because if this is the floor and you're going 2020 on us, rookie year winning Gold Gloves, but then you're also this next year, you're going to add Juan Soto to help you out. I don't know. I don't know where we're going.
Yeah, and especially the news that DJ LeMahieu being hurt and probably not going to be available opening day. There had been talks previously about Volpe potentially leading off. It had been announced that DJ LeMahieu was going to get that leadoff spot. But now with LeMahieu out, I don't see a lot standing in the way, unless they want to bat Judge lead off again, which they did that experience for a while. Unless they're doing the Judge leading off thing, I don't see why Anthony Volpe is now not the opening day leadoff hitter for the Yankees.
Yeah.
So it's going to go Volpe, Soto, Judge, Stanton, who just hit 3 dingers yesterday.
He's looking good too.
Yeah, and Volpe would be hitting in front of all of those guys. He's got a little pop. He's just got to find a way to get the bat working. And we can't say that, even though he hit 200 last year, we can't say that the batting average was all bad. He started cold and he ended cold. In the middle of the season, from June through August, so a 3-month stretch, He hit 240 with a 455 slugging percentage. He had 26 extra base hits, stole 8 bases, and drove in 33 in just over 250 at bats. That's not terrible. Like if you combine that out, like if you just put that into like a 500 AB calculation, if you want to say he gets 500 at bats this year, that's 24 home runs, 16 stolen bases while hitting 240 and batting leadoff for the Yankees ahead of Judge, Soto, all those guys. That's 100 runs.
Elite players. Yeah.
Yeah. And like
that's what I'm saying, man. I don't know where we go with this. This is a very, very good floor that we saw in a rookie year. I don't know.
Yeah, and I really do think it's getting overlooked a bit because I mean right now his NFBC ADP is 131 right now. He's the 15th shortstop going off the board. Do you think he's worthy of a top 100 pick? That's tough.
I think, yeah, it's just probably not. Probably not.
Let's put it this way. Who do you like better? As of this moment right now, as we talk about Anthony Volpe, who do you like better, Anthony Volpe or Dansby Swanson?
I'll take Volpe. Yeah, that's easy. He fills out more of the categories. I think he's just got a little bit more flash to him too. I'll take Volpe.
All right, Volpe or Xander Bogaerts?
Volpe. I'm not in on Bogaerts like a lot of people are either. Or I'm sorry, Bogaerts. Yeah, not in on Bogaerts.
Volpe or Hassan Kim? That's a tough one, actually. That's a really tough one. That's as far as I'm going to go. I like
I'll probably take Hassan Kim. That's probably.
I think I would too. Hassan Kim is sitting at an ADP of 82 on NFBC right now. Xander Bogaerts is 104. So, and Dansby Swanson's at 122. So Swanson and Bogaerts are both being drafted ahead of Anthony Volpe right now. I think that does safely put him probably as a top 100 pick potential, sitting 2-3 rounds outside of it. So I'll take a guy in that range, like in that 10th, 11th round range. If you can give me 2 rounds of value on the pick, I'm cool with that. If I pick you at pick 120 and you're going to be the 90th best overall player for that year, I'll take that. That's good value. That's maximizing your return on investment for all of you financial geeks out there.
Nerds.
I was going to call you nerds, but I'm a nerd too.
I will.
Dragon Ball Z tattoos.
Nerd.
But yeah, so I think Anthony Volpe actually does have that safe floor because, like you said, last year we could probably use that as his floor. He only hit 200 and he still had a 2020 season.
Yeah.
So maybe 25 out of Volpe this year. That'd be crazy with 100 runs. I've seen a lot of people doing the RBI runs, like combine the stat. He could have 100 and 170 runs plus RBIs this year while going 25. That's value.
Working.
That's good. So give me that. And moving on to next on the list, it's our boy in the hometown, Seattle. So I wrote my article. Well, I guess it's Dominic Canzone.
What's up,
Canzone? Hey, Mr. Canzone. I wrote my article based on the fact that I was 100% positive Dominic Canzone was the starting left fielder for the Seattle Mariners come opening day.
I'm gonna be pissed if he's not.
Before we got on this,
I'm gonna be pissed.
So shout out Mariner Muse. Let me find the tweet right before I got on here. It was something about Ty France. Here we go. It's an extra day off. Or no, this is from Daniel Kramer. It's an extra day off for Ty France, whose wife is due any day now. Scott Services intended to use every starter for the first time tonight, but wanted to allocate France some more family time. So tonight is supposed to be the starters minus Ty France. The problem with that is Dominic Canzone is not in the starting lineup tonight for the Seattle Mariners.
And they got Rayleigh in there still.
Rayleigh is in there.
That's crazy, man.
So
Like,
if tonight's the night supposed to be starters, that don't make sense.
it doesn't. What has Rayleigh done to earn that spot? Canzone's outworked him in every way.
He's done literally nothing. We have been screaming this from the mountaintops. Luke Rayleigh is not a good baseball player. I don't know what the Tampa Bay Rays did at the beginning of last season. It was cool as hell. So props to them. They made everybody on their team look good. They made Taylor Wells, whatever the hell his first name is, look like a competent bat in a lineup. They made Harold Ramirez look like the second coming of Yandy Diaz.
Rays ball, baby.
They made they made all of these guys look good, and then they all faded in the second half. And everybody just has that picture in their head of like, oh man, Luke Rayleigh was really good there for a while. His OPS plus at the end of the year was crazy. No, his OPS plus through the first 3 months of the season was crazy, and then he limped into the end of the year, and it just so happened to be so good for the first 3 months that the end of the year number ended up pretty good still. He's not good, and now he's going to start over Dominic Canzone. I don't know how this turned into a rant, and I apologize.
No, I mean it's all needed to be said though, because it's the truth. Dami's been out working. He's had a great spring. I don't know, like, and may not be opening day. Like, we could be overreacting a little bit. They still got to play 162. I do think by the end of the first month, Dami's gonna be the everyday guy. That's my hope.
It has to be, dude.
And that's my guess.
He gives me 2018 Mitch Haniger vibes, when not Haney's first year here, but like his first year, 2017, he started out real hot, and he had like the injury bug that got him the rest of the year. He played like 98 games, but hit 16 home runs. Good first little stint, similar to what Canzone did last year, like first little stint in the second half. But then 2018 Haniger played like a man possessed and was just out of his mind, and nobody expected it. I think that is what Dominic Canzone is going to do this year. He's kind of done it in spring, hitting 281, 3 dingers, 9 RBI, and 3 doubles.
Couple steals.
That's the potential he has, man. Yeah, and there you go. He stole a couple bases too. He's got some quicks. He stole 14 bases in 2022 in AAA. So it's not out of the question to think he can steal 10 bases. And he has 25 home run upside. So if you read my article and you saw the part where I said Dominic Canzone is 100% the starting left fielder for the Seattle Mariners on opening day, I apologize, because I don't know what Scott Service is doing, but he will be there. Just give it a little time. Maybe this gives you a little bit more of a discount on him. But yeah, Jonathan Rarig in the YouTube chat, what up? He says suggestions on some late round starting pitchers.
I'll let we talk.
Some of my late round favorite starting pitchers right now, I like AJ Puck. I think he gets a spot in that Miami rotation, and he's striking people out like crazy. Gavin Stone, I think, is worth a look. I saw Eric Samolsky on Twitter. He made a good point that all prospect progression is not linear. So Gavin Stone was like a top pitching prospect, sucked last year. But now you come into spring, his pitchers are missing bats with a vengeance. And he's got that 5th spot in the Yankees rotation lockdown. So I think there's some sneaky value there. He's going very late. I like DL Hall to potentially get some work. Severino quietly had a nice spring. I don't love Severino, but I don't hate Severino either. I don't think he gave up an earned run this spring, or he gave up 1 earned run, something like that. He struck out as many batters as innings pitched. And Reese Olson of the Detroit Tigers. I keep praising the Detroit Tigers all the time.
That's one of Uncle Ted's
He's
boys.
Throwing frisbees now. Yep, Uncle Ted's big on Reese Olson.
Flaherty didn't even in spring.
Flaherty is dude. Flaherty hit 97 the other day.
Yeah.
I like a Jack Flaherty to throw 97.
Yeah,
he's got great stuff. Now Uncle Ted says Naoyuki Uwasawa
and Kapow.
Yeah, and Ryan Pepois. That was my favorite clip I put on social media. I'm not sorry for putting that out there. Ryan Pepio, yes, I think it's a great one too. He was the kind of the prized possession for the Rays in the Glasnow trade. So there's great value there. But there's a good list for you. Those all, if you're in like a deeper league, or even if you're trying to take a flyer on some guys, those guys all should add value. Of all those guys, I think I'm highest on Gavin Stone. Probably shouldn't be. I don't know if I took him in Tout Wars. I took him in Tout Wars, so like I'm not low on him, but yeah, took him in Tout Wars. So, and by the way, Tout Wars, I got a minute. Tout Wars was so fun, dude. Like that was crazy.
Oh, that was your first time in New York, right?
There. Yeah, that was my first time in New York. I was there for 28 hours.
Business
between
trip.
the time my plane landed and I got back to the damn airport. 28 hours, and it's a 6-hour plane ride there and a 6-hour plane ride back.
You're in the air half the time,
dude. And the worst part was, I'm fairly tall. Like I'm 6'2", fairly tall. I don't fit the best in an airplane seat. Like it's not horrible, but it's not the most comfortable. I had a middle seat on the way there.
Okay.
Surrounded by two dudes that would give me 0 room. So I had no armrest room at all.
Of course.
On the way back, I was so irritated. I got another middle seat. So I tried everything in my power to upgrade to first class. Telling them I'll pay whatever. I'll do whatever. Like, just please, for the love of God, upgrade me. Wouldn't upgrade me.
Really?
So I got stuck in another middle seat on the way back next to this kid that I couldn't tell if he was 15 or 23. He could have been one or the other, but he got up to go to the bathroom 6 times and he had the window seat. And so every time he got up, we all had to get out of the aisle.
Hey, sometimes we need to get up to use the bathroom on an airplane because we're not feeling good, Blake. Okay, so how about you shush it?
Oh, you want to go there right now? Because that was crazy.
I'm just saying. I'm giving the boy some love. Has to go run to the bathroom. I feel it. We don't feel well on that plane.
You know, you got possessed on that airplane. You got possessed.
Hey, the funniest thing, Rick Riz was on that flight, people, and he was in the bathroom line as I was getting sick on the plane. I open the door, walk out. He goes, "You all right?" I said, Shout out Rick.
That was the craziest shit ever. We flew to spring training last year. The whole family went, and while we're waiting to get on the plane, Dylan was like, "Oh, you just walked by Rick Riz, who's the play-by-play announcer for the Seattle Mariners." He's like, "Did you see him?" I was like, "Oh no, I didn't see him." And he came back, and he just so happened to stand in line to board the plane in front of us. We stopped it up with them for like 5-10 minutes before we got on the plane. Cool as hell. And then Dylan gets more sick than anybody I've seen in my entire life on that same flight. Just freaking.
We made it the way home, though. Crazy. We made it the way home. We're good on the way home.
Shout out that nausea medicine. It really it put in some work on that airplane ride on the way home. But sorry. Okay, one more real quick that we wanted to cover. Tarik Skubal. Tarik Skubal is one more person that it was on my X Factor list. I know he's kind of been a little bit of hot names in the baseball world. He was so good. Do I have a tear in my eye? He was so good after he came back from being hurt last year. He added velocity to his fastball. His slider was breaking a little more. He has George Kirby level command, which
on the left side,
literally nobody else in baseball really has. And he's going right now in like the 3rd or 4th round. I have the ADP right here. I think he's going in the 3rd round currently. Tarik Skubal ADP 52. Ooh-wee. So 52 right now.
4th round pick in the big boy draft.
Yeah, that's late 4th, early 5th round.
Mm-hmm.
Honest to God, he is like he is the guy being drafted probably at the end of my SP1 tier, but he is probably a top 7 starting pitcher this year.
Legit.
Obviously, I'm big on the Tigers. I don't know why I should buy a Tigers jersey or something, but how good do you think he can be, Dylan? Do you think he's top 15 potential, top 10,
He's
top 5? What's
that man.
the ceiling for Skubal?
That man's ace Cy Young level potential. I mean, you've been putting on. Shut up. Dad put some in the chat. Shut your mouth. What was the question? Oh, Skubal. He's really good at pitching,
Yeah.
and I think he's good enough to win the Cy Young award.
I'm here for it. I'm down to put a little money on him. I think he was over 1,000 to 1 last time I checked. That may have changed a little bit, but
He's
well,
going to get the strikeouts. He's going to get the strikeouts, and his ERA should be low enough. Let's see if he can get the innings under his belt. I think that might be the one thing that holds him back. But if he can push that 175, 180 mark and can push 200 Ks as well, let's see.
Dude, if he,
but I hope it comes here first more than anything. I think Skubal's on these guys' level that we got here, though, too. I wish we had a Skubal in this rotation from the left side. Are you kidding me?
I would love to have a left-handed starting pitcher in the Mariners rotation.
Facts.
But yeah, if Skubal and Kirby pitched on the same team, it would be nuts. I think they are 1 and 2 in location plus for starting pitchers. I don't know about if you lump relievers in there too. A lot of relievers tend to not be quite as high on the location plus part because some guys like a Matt Brash kind of excel at not necessarily knowing where some of those pitches are going. George Kirby knows exactly where every single one of his pitches is going. I just saw earlier on the Fantasy Baseball page on Facebook, I think we're live on that page right now, somebody had asked if there should be any worry about George Kirby and how his spring has gone so far. And I just said, you shouldn't be worried at all. Kirby is just toying with his pitches a little bit. He's throwing curveball early in the count, like just things you don't typically do just so he can get feel for his pitches in different situations. And it's exactly like he has an 8.31 ERA in spring right now. It's just like Felix Hernandez used to be. Felix would go give up 12 runs in 2 innings in spring training and wouldn't have a care in the world because that's exactly how he planned it to go.
Matter.
He's just working through those pitches. So, yeah, if you're looking at Kirby and you see the 8.31 ERA, don't worry about that.
Okay, well, Skubal does have. I didn't know that. All right, Skubal does got Seattle ties. He's from Seattle U, or went to Seattle U. I didn't know that. Okay,
there we go.
Shout out Seattle.
Come home. Him and Blake Snell reunion tour at the crib.
Don't know if he's from Seattle here, but at least went there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he at least lived here at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Ted, I want to throw this out here. He said Eddie's Leonard all day, top 6 shortstop this year. I hope so because I don't have it next to me. I typically do. I got some Bowman Chrome Sapphire Eddie's Leonard, like first Bowman Green refractor at a 50 or at a 99 something the other day. Just like the coolest card ever. And I pulled it and was like, man, whatever. But I mean, if you're killing it, I'm here for it because that's money in my pocket. But we appreciate you guys for stopping by, hanging out, having a good time in the chat. We laughed a lot this episode. If you guys like what you hear, if you could leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, a 5-star rating on Spotify, hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you are here watching us live. And also shout out all of our live viewers. I don't know what has happened the last couple weeks. Genuinely, I don't know what has happened.
Good things have happened.
Admittedly, we used to broadcast to 8 of you guys and be like, oh, hell yeah, dude, we had 8 people in the live today. That's pretty cool. Like across all the platforms. We have 48 people here watching us right now. I appreciate every single one of you. I love you guys. We had like 200 plus last time, pushing 300. We had like 50 or 40 in the episode before
the previous one before, yeah.
You guys are awesome. I can't put into words how good it makes me feel that we are putting something out there that you guys enjoy enough to have this many of you staying and hanging out. Our number hasn't dropped at all. The whole episode, our number has actually gone up the entire episode to this point. So we really appreciate you guys. We see you guys watching. We love you. And with that being said, I think me and Dylan are going to be back tomorrow for another episode. We'll hit y'all up with 2 episodes this week as usual. Back on our bullshit. And until then, we will catch you guys next time.